Hello again. I don't want to over egg the pudding on this seance board thing that I just made a video about. So this part 2 will just be very quick, but I've just been reading the guidelines in the magazine, and I'm not insulting the magazine either. You know, this is quite typical of what you find in kind of popular culture, really. So it's not, you know, although this is irresponsible to my mind, it's not just them that do things like this, and I think they were doing it in the most well-meaning way, but it's actually stupid. I just wanted to say a few more things very quickly, as quick as I possibly can anyway. Yes, summon the spirits. Who are the spirits? Do they have any comprehension of who the spirits are? The vast, infinite variety of other beings or essences or energies or anything that could be in a level other than this one. Do they have any conception of that? Who do they think they are? Really, that does that's not really clarified here. Yeah. So and then they're doing what we did. Is there anybody there? Well, yeah, there'll be somebody there. Do you have any conception of who you might perhaps want to speak to, or is it just because they're not physical, because they're not in this reality, that they're somehow wise? I mean, really, I think it's because to some degree people don't believe in this, therefore they don't think about it terribly much, because it's not real, is it? It's not real. Well, it is real, honestly. And I can only say that. I only say things through experience. I don't say things through theorising. It's because of direct, prolonged experience of all sorts of different unseen beings who I have inadvertently been in contact with or have purposefully contacted, but not just randomly in this way. I mean, this is just I wrote in one of my books, it was Wild Spirituality, that, you know, you're basically going into the back alley behind a pub and asking the drunk, weeing against the wall, whether he can answer the meaning of life or can tell you about Wittgenstein or some high you know, aspect of quantum physics or something. Is that where you go to find those answers? Because this is like the equivalent of what you're doing. You're just throwing open the door and saying to any old thing that isn't corporeal, that isn't of this supposedly nuts and bolts reality, you're just saying to them, well, you'll know the answer, won't you? Really? Okay. Yes, so they're asking questions. I mean, this is exactly what we did when we were teenagers. We thought that they would know the answers. Who are they? This society, this culture, everything, we just have no clue about the multifaceted, multi-layered possibilities of you know, beings that aren't us, that are in different levels of existence. We have no clue, because it's never talked about. And then people do stupid things like this, and they haven't got the faintest, foggiest notion of what's out there. I mean, none of us can, really, because there are things way beyond our capacity to comprehend, way beyond. So at least we have to have some sort of structure and understand basic knowledge and aim where we know we will get something that is beyond the muck at the bottom, if you like. Not that I like top and bottom, but sometimes it's unavoidable to say it. It just really disturbs me, this stuff. It's just, I don't know how. I don't have a TV. I don't know how much of this is in popular culture, but I would imagine there's quite a lot of it. And it really bothers me, as you know, as I've already said. But it's just, yes, be courteous, be polite. So And they'll respect that, of course, because you're just inviting in anything and expecting it to play by your rules, really, when you don't even know what it is. If you don't, I don't know, go to another country or something and just have no idea about how things operate there, and expect them to play by your rules and to know what you want and to do what you want. In fact, it's more extreme in this sense, because they're not even of our world. You know, they might be close to it, but they haven't got our structure or our sensibility or anything, really. I mean, yes, when you're dealing with any legitimate contact with an unseen being, of course be polite and courteous, but you know, you're just opening the door to any old drifting thing that wants to have a bit of fun with you at this level. I'm not selling my books because, you know, virtually nobody's read them anyway, but they're out there. If you want to know how to do this properly, I go over everything so clearly about how to do things properly, and you know, they do not include doing seances at any stage. This is just this is naive, but it's naive and dangerous. It really is. And I'm not, you know, people assume when people are against this stuff that it's because they're Christian. I couldn't be any further from that in terms of my outlook. Not because, you know, there's anything wrong with that. I have been a Christian because I was looking for help in the church, which I did not receive. But you know, I have an incredibly broad outlook, and of course there are infinite possibilities in realities we can't even fathom. So to limit, you know, to say that, oh, you must be Christian because you're against this, is absolute nonsense, because I've got, you know, my viewpoint is way beyond any man-made religion or belief system. I don't even have a belief system. I just have an expanding understanding, as far as this human self will allow me to, of the vast unknown, the unseen, this is crazy. They just think they're going to be sitting down and talking to Aunt Doris about, oh, good grief. Anyway, I'm sorry, I've probably said enough, haven't I? But, you know, this is just... Oh, look, for more information on the Ouija board, Ouija board, and your own angel board, Lord Lancaster, that is one of my phrases. I don't actually know a Lord Lancaster at all. Please have a think about what I'm saying, and yeah, I think I'll stop there, shall I? Don't begin your seance at all under any circumstances, because you are just not going to get what you want, and if you're lucky you won't get anything at all. But you know, if only the perspective of this society would change and shift away from its focus on the material, and stop having such a derisive outlook on anybody who sees beyond that and labels them in various ways. There is no limit to how I experience what could be beyond this very narrow band of light that we can see as people. There are vast, I keep saying vast, but we haven't even got the words for it, you know. We are so far behind on this. We really are. We have just no grasp. We probably did have at some stage, but we were really far from it now. And getting further, I think, because it's, you know, it's not considered to be a sensible occupation to be looking at beyond. The religions, although they're waning in popularity to some degree, especially Christianity, you could say, but although they're waning, they are still considered the only way to approach matters unseen. Anybody that approaches matters unseen and is interested in anything beyond the five sense reality is, it's not encouraged, is it? It's really not encouraged at all. It's still pretty much the equivalent of me walking into my religious education lesson and being kind of stared at by 30 pupils and a teacher with open-mouthed, what? I don't think much has changed, really, despite all the popularisation of things. I don't think much has changed in terms of the seriousness with which this is taken, and it should be taken very seriously. And if it isn't, that's the kind of thing that happens, because people have not got this stuff should be this information, this opportunity to talk about the nature of reality and why we're here and what else could be here, and all of that should be taught from, well, not taught but discussed, just left open from when we are very tiny, because we know all that when we come here, and then it just gets shut down and shut down and shut down. Yeah, this is beginning to be a bit of a it's sad. It's sad to me that happens, that we do know this, and then it gets locked down, and then we know more about times tables and countries and things that, and there's never any chance of that. I remember being at primary school, I can remember once there was a supply teacher that came in, and they didn't seem to have any formal agenda, and they just liked to sit and talk to us, which was like, whoa. And one day she just sat there and she said, do you have dreams about flying down the stairs? And virtually everybody said yes. And you could tell that it was a genuine thing, because everybody was kind of looking at each other like, you have that too? And we had a little bit of a conversation about that. We opened up the discussion, and of course that never, she left again because she was a supply teacher, and it never continued. But I remembered that vividly, because I wished so much that could continue. And it never did, and everything just got more and more shut down and more focused on being in this reality, which is why people end up doing dafty things, trying to find answers, because we already know that there's more than this reality. Sometimes we do get little glimpses of it, and then we want to know what it's about, but then we approach it in a daft way. Okay, enough. Bye bye. Thanks for listening.